Trump, first segment. His bigotry has been exposed in a major way. According to the biographer, Trump has extreme hatred for Black people and says the country would be better off without them. Here it is.
Is Trump racist?
I mean, the word racist, which now becomes in the Trump world a kind of high praise, and because it's meant to suggest the liberal overreach, and the liberals call anybody racist. Therefore, if you call him a racist, he's not a racist. Well, clearly he has some issue with Black people, what we might conventionally call racist. The world is a better place to him without Black people, or without having to be aware of Black people, without Black people somehow in what he considers a zero-sum game with white people. I mean, he has an issue there that is that certainly regards Black people as profoundly different from white people.
You don't say. Put it up full mass. The most unsurprising segment on Indisputable. Let's get into the details. Michael Wolff, the president's biographer, shared about Trump's views on race during an interview with the Daily Beast podcast. Now, keep the picture up. I want to make this note for the record. He's not trying to be adversarial to Donald Trump, the person. He's trying to archive a historical narrative in a proper context. The context is simply what it is. Wolff has written 2 books on Trump, All or Nothing, How Trump Recaptured America, and Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House. For the latter book, published in 2018, the author said he spent 3 hours interviewing Trump. Trump claimed to have given the author 0 access to the White House. Well, somebody's lying. Quote, "I never spoke to him for the book," Trump said. "Full of lies, misrepresentations, and sources that don't exist." Interesting, that's exactly what Michael said you would say. All right, there's more. So as a reminder, Trump established his credibility with far-right racists when he pushed the rumor that President Barack Obama was not born in the U.S. The real estate developer claimed he sent investigators to Hawaii and found President Obama's birth certificate. It was a lie, which Obama eventually released. We all remember that. Now, it's interesting. This is still part of the conversation. But yeah, so Donald Trump did not create the lie. Republicans did. Regular Republicans created the lie. Everyday people, conservatives, created the lie. They knew it was a lie. They used that lie to divide the nation. And they did it intentionally. And then when they said, you know what? It's a lie. He's actually American. Trump says, no, he's not. And all of a sudden, because Trump was willing to lie longer than any other Republican about the Black male president, he becomes the heir apparent, the champion for white bigots. 2016, when he first ran for president, Trump routinely retweeted white supremacists and neo-Nazis who endorsed him. Following the Unite the Right rally, Charlottesville, Virginia, 2017, in which a counter-protester was killed by a white supremacist who drove his car into a crowd. The president claimed there were, quote, some very fine people and also on both sides, drawing praise for defending the truth according to white nationalist Richard Spencer. This is when it really started to show publicly. He reportedly claimed immigrants who come to the U.S. from Haiti, all have the AIDS virus, HIV, and warned that Nigerian refugees would come here and never go back to their huts once they saw America. Trump expanded on those remarks by asking a bipartisan conference on immigration, quote, why are we having all these people from whole countries come here? He suggested the United States should take more people from white countries like Norway. There's more. Echoing his claims about President Obama, Trump suggested that VP Harris, who's Black and South Asian, quote, doesn't meet the requirements to be Joe Biden's running mate. Race has played a significant role in Trump's second-term agenda. He has gutted DEI at public institutions and universities, with the majority of his supporters believing racism against white people is actually the big problem than racism against Black people. Trump has ordered the Department of Justice to focus its attention on anti-white bias. The president has also pushed false claims of genocide against farmers, white farmers, South Africa, and has granted the descendants of the colonizers asylum here in the United States. They are the only refugees that have been granted such asylum during his second term. For anyone who voted for Trump and you happen to be not that racist, you have to agree at this point, this individual is going to create such chaos. I mean, the financial markets, let alone the tariffs, and supporting actual racism, not bias, not prejudice, not discrimination. He is supporting actual racism, race-based policy, race-based punishment, and race-based rhetoric. You put them together with a corrupt individual, you have a dangerous weapon. Being informed of race and society is a good thing. Being adverse to the conversation while ripping down the institutions that create equity, well, that's the evil thing. Allegations of Trump's racism extended well before his foray into politics. In 1973, Trump Management Corporation was sued by the DOJ because they violated the Fair Housing Act. They refused, according to the allegation, to rent to Black people. Trump claimed the government was trying to force him to rent to welfare recipients, which is not true. And he continues to claim that the Central Park Five, the exonerated Central Park Five, mostly Black teenagers, that they did in fact sexually assault a white jogger in 1989, even though they were once again fully exonerated in 2002. Okay. That's a short list, by the way,
Right.
qualifications to be a racist. All right, dear brother, what are your thoughts?
Right, I mean, like I was gonna list off some stuff too, but you pretty much laid it all out. But I just definitely wanted to add on to, as you pointed out before, like any criticism that you give to the right wing, they wear it as a badge of honor, because it's like, oh, I just want to be able to say the N-word on Twitter without being censored or blocked, because that's just, they're super brave because they get to take it back to the old times. But one of the things I don't think that you mentioned, you remember when Trump was campaigning and Byron Donalds, he was down there tap dancing and he was like, that's one of the good ones. He looked at Byron Donalds and said out loud out of his mouth, that's one of the good ones. And then he didn't. And then he got no position in the administration in return, did all that. And it's just like, also don't forget, this man came to, like, he started his campaign coming down the escalator and immediately said, man, Mexicans ain't about nothing. They, you know what I'm saying? They criminals, they sending over their worst people. And it ain't, look, if you don't like Mexicans, ain't no way you like black people. You know what I'm saying? Like those two things ain't mixing. You ain't liking, because black people are just constantly the scapegoats for everybody, because in America, well, just in the Western world throughout history, the darker your skin is, the lower you are in terms of social status. So everybody's trying to scapegoat themselves away from the black community as much as they can. So, everything about this man's life has been racist, and that's why his base is as racist as it is, let alone all the just general corruption that we're seeing him doing now. He's just, freeing game show hosts and letting everybody out of prison. So, I mean, none of this is surprising, but of course, we still live in an environment where, again, you call them racist, you tripping. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, and the irony, brother, this man has figured out how to demean every demographic in some way: women, people of color, those with disabilities. But he has never said anything negative against white racists in the United States. It's quite fascinating. All right, we'll bring updates as they come.